Hello YouTube, today's video is going to be a little different from what you're used to. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to teach you how to put piano and beatbox together. It's not really going to be like a piano or beatbox tutorial, it's just about putting the two together. This is voted by you guys on Twitter, so follow me at marcus.veltri. I'm going to do more polls about what videos you guys want. So if you want to be active there, give me a follow. And lastly, I give Skype piano lessons. It's $25 an hour right now. We cover piano, we can cover beatboxing, how to write music, how to read music, whatever you want. Email me. My email is in the description down below. Only email me if you're interested. And I just want to quickly address that $25 an hour may seem like a lot, but I'm going to put some links in the description below that will show the average cost of piano lessons in the United States. You actually find that it's pretty cheap. And this is also my job, so it makes me able to afford nice equipment, and then it helps me eat every once in a while, so that's nice. So go easy with me on the sellout comments. I know there's still going to be sellout comments, but just go easy on me because I need the money for all this equipment, and this is my job. So thank you guys. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So today we're actually going to be learning All of Me by John Legend, I believe. But before we get into that, I just wanted to quickly cover how exactly I go about learning piano beatbox cover. So those of you that have played piano before, you remembered that putting the two hands together when you first started was very difficult. It felt impossible. Like this was my first song when I first started playing. I remember when I learned that, it took me forever to get the left and right hand. Like it was ridiculous, you know. It felt impossible, and I was just like, "This is impossible. I can't do it." I literally couldn't do it, obviously. And what happened was, I just slowed it down. I learned where the notes lined up. I just took it super slow to where I could like be in control of what I was doing. It's the exact same thing with piano beatboxing. It's a lot harder because you're adding like a third layer on top of everything, and there's a lot more things that need to line up right in place, but it's the exact same principle. So just take everything super slowly. I'm going to break down how exactly I learn piano beatbox songs. So when I'm learning a song that's just piano, I'll either learn the right hand first or the left hand first. Basically, I break down the hands. I usually pick the easier hand and I'll learn that one first, but it really doesn't matter. The whole point is you want to break these hands down and learn one part, learn the other part, and then put them together. Because if you can't play them by themselves, there's no way you're going to be able to play them together. So you got to get them perfectly correct in every way possible, and just make sure you're very consistent. Same thing with piano beatbox. It's a little bit more complicated, so I'm going to go into that. So if you're learning a piano beatbox cover, you're going to learn your right hand, then you're going to learn the left hand, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. Then you're going to put the two together. That's the first thing you do. You don't even start with beatboxing. I personally don't do that. Then I'll learn the beatbox part, make sure I have the beatboxing down. That usually doesn't take me too long because my beatboxing is really simple. But I'll learn that, make sure that's solid, and then I'll start to incorporate it with the piano. But if, let's say I'll start with the right hand, I'll just do the right hand and the beatboxing together. Then I'll do the left hand and beatboxing together. And then I put them all together. So there's a whole bunch of steps you have to go through, so it can get pretty time consuming, and that's why I can't upload Omegle videos like every day like you guys want, because it takes me a really long time to learn these covers, and you will learn why once you start doing this. But let's go ahead and jump into All of Me. So it sounds a little something like this. With the beatbox. We're going to keep it simple today, just with the... So if you're a beatboxer, that's a kick, hi-hat, PF snare. But I realize I'm talking to a lot of beginning beatboxers, so let's just keep it simple. Everyone can do a kick and hi-hat. So instead of doing PF, if you don't want to do PF, you can go... You can do an outward K or rim shot. Inward K, whatever you want, whatever works for you. Just pick a snare that you're most comfortable with, because we're just focusing on putting piano and beatbox together for this. But yeah, so it's just a simple boots and cats rhythm. I don't want to get too complicated for the first tutorial. But yeah, that's how it's going to sound once we're finished. So I'm going to start right now by showing you what to play on the piano, because like I said, we want to learn the piano first, then the beatboxing, and then put them all together. So yeah, I'm going to start with the piano, switch the camera angles, and move the mic out of the way. So that was the piano part. If you missed anything, just rewind. Everything's there. I should have the notes laid out, so you should just be able to pause the video and just make sure you get everything. So once you have the piano part down, make sure you also have that down. Then we can start to get into actually putting the two together. So we're going to start with the left hand because that's the easier one. I suggest starting with the left hand, or just the easier part. It's not necessarily always the left hand, but just pick the easier hand and start with that for the beatboxing. So this is what it sounds like up to speed. So that's what it sounds like up to speed. Then it just keeps repeating. So now I'm just going to show you where all of the notes line up with the beatboxing. So we start out with the kick, and the first kick we do, you also play the F. So go ahead and just do that. So that's all you do. Your left hand's not doing anything. Just go. So then after you go, when you come to that third kick, you're going to go to the D flat. So each time you hit a note in the left hand, it's going to be lining up on a kick drum. So keep that in mind. Start to notice patterns like that. It'll just make the learning process easier. So from the beginning. So then you go to the E flat, and it's going to land on a kick again. And then it loops. So these are all whole notes. So they're all held out for the same time. It's 4 whole notes, and so the beatboxing will be the same length as well. So this may be super easy for some of you. This may be nearly impossible for some of you. So if you are the latter, please take it as slow as you need to. So even if you're going like this slow. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it'll take a while, but the whole idea here is that you want to go really slowly, and also you want to do everything. You want to beatbox with the emphasis on the notes you're hitting. So if I do a kick, I'm So whenever I hit a note in the piano and I beatbox, I want to hit the piano loud. Don't hurt yourself though. Don't hurt your fingers or anything. But you're going to want to hit it strong and confidently. And then whatever beatboxing note or sound you're doing, you want to do that one hard because it just creates muscle memory. So if you kind of get the idea what I'm trying to get at, it will really help, and it'll really help your brain understand where the notes line up with the beatboxing. So now we're going to go over to the right hand. This one's a little bit more challenging, but this is what it sounds like up to speed. So I'm going to do it really slowly. That way you guys can see where the notes line up. Then I'll kind of break it down. So then it just keeps looping. Let's go through and let's see where all the notes line up. So the first one lines up with the kick. So the first one's easy. So go ahead and just go. Just do that. I do this all the time. I just break down what I can play, and I keep playing that over and over until I get it, and then I move on before I go to another note or anything. So what's going to happen next is on the second hi-hat, we're going to play another note. So it sounds like this. So I'm going to do it even slower. That way you guys fully understand what I'm doing. I want you to take it that slow if you're struggling. That will really help your brain really comprehend it. So once you think you've got that down, do that a couple times. Just do that and then just stop and then just do it again. Once you feel comfortable, we can go ahead and move on. So I'll go ahead and show you where the next part lines up. So it lines up on a snare this time compared to a hi-hat. And then there's the extra hi-hat at the end. Then that is the rhythm for the right hand. So once you get this down, you're just going to keep repeating that with different note combinations. So this is super important. So you really want to spend a lot of time, because the notes are easy. It's easy to, that's easy. I mean, that's easy to play. What's going to be difficult is lining up the notes with the beatboxing. So that's what you really want to focus on and make sure it's super clean. So I'm going to go ahead and do it slowly one more time, then we'll move on. And then after that, you just keep repeating with different notes. So I'm not going to go through each note because it's virtually the same. The rhythm is the same. The only thing that changes is the notes. But make sure you feel completely comfortable. I highly recommend practicing with a metronome because this will make sure everything lines up. And there's tons of resources. I personally have a metronome built in my keyboard, but there's metronomes you can use on your phone that you can download as apps that are always free, or you can look one up online, or you can buy one. They're really cheap, just a few bucks. But I highly recommend using one because this will make sure everything lines up properly and it'll just make everything sound really clean. So what I personally do when I'm learning a song is I'll start it, let's say I'll start at 80 beats per minute. I'll make sure I can play it perfectly at that tempo, whether I'm practicing the right hand on its own or practicing right hand with beatboxing, whatever I'm doing, I'm making sure I can play it perfectly at that tempo. And I'll try to play it perfectly 5 times in a row. And once I feel comfortable with that, I'll speed it up by 4 clicks. So I'll go up to like 84 beats per minute, and then I'll try it at that tempo, and I just keep progressing. And that's how you'll really make everything sound clean. And that's a really good way to make everything come together. So now we've learned both hands separately. Let's go ahead and break it down and listen to how it sounds all together. So that's how it sounds all together. I'm going to do it slowly one time just so you guys fully understand. So the same principle should be applied when you're putting both hands together and beatboxing. You want to put a strong emphasis on where the beatboxing and the piano lines up, and emphasize that in your beatboxing and the piano. You generally just want to be strong with everything and make sure you make no mistakes. And easier said than done, obviously, but that's why you want to practice at a slow tempo, because if you make mistakes, you're practicing bad habits. So once you make a mistake, you need to stop and take it slower. Once you make a mistake, it's like you got to make it a lot slower, because you don't want to get bad habits in. Because once you get these bad habits, it's a lot harder to break them, and you'll end up spending a lot more time practicing. That pretty much covers it for the tutorial of all of me. There's like a ton of variations you can do with the beatboxing. You know, you can go. All I was doing there was I didn't use the pedal, and I was hitting the left hand with the right hand that time, and I was just doing. It's just a basic drum and bass beat. So there's tons of different variations you can do. I highly encourage you to experiment and just see what you like, see what your style is, and just see what you can really do, because there's a ton you can do with piano beatbox. I also just wanted to briefly explain that this is a really good song to pick for piano beatbox because it's syncopated. And syncopation, all syncopation means is that the music doesn't always land on the downbeat. So here's the downbeat. See how it doesn't always line up with the hi-hat? It gives it a better sense of a groove. And since the beatboxing is just going, it gives a really nice groove. And you want to have the piano and beatbox complement each other. If you're just going like something like, that can sound good at certain points, maybe as a little intro, but like eventually when you get into the groove, you want to go have something with a little bit more rhythm, something a little bit more you can groove to. That pretty much wraps it up for this video. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see more videos like this one. I won't do them too often, but every once in a while, if you guys want me to upload one, I can. I was getting a ton of requests to do one, so that's why I did this one. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.